Hello and welcome to another episode of Nightcap with Nightcat, the kitsch-minded show where we talk about toys, boys, and life's other joys. I am your host, Nightcat. I am so excited you're here tonight. We're doing this live, baby. We've never done Nightcap with Nightcat live, but I've been doing the morning announcements live, and we've been having so much fun, and I still need to figure out stuff about my streaming software, so I need as much practice as I can get. We're doing it live! Get over into the chat. I want to talk to you. Make sure you text me if you want to talk live on the phone on Nightcap with Nightcat about anything. Text me what it is. The number is 601-557-CAT1. 601-557-CAT1. Okay, we've got a great show coming up. Some really great stuff in the litter box. I'm going to teach some people what a sky dancer is because some people have never heard of a sky dancer before, which is shocking, horrifying information if you ask me. But before we get into any of that, we got to address something. In case you missed it, I started a morning show called Morning Announcements. It's right here on the Nightcap with Nightcat channel. I go live every morning, and we just talk about really quick news highlights, and we goof around, we play live games with prizes, and it's supposed to be fun and silly. Well, yesterday I did this story. It's the story of how Amazon had to change their logo because it looked too much like Hitler, the new one did. Here's a quick little reminder. This is the old Amazon logo. Back in January, they changed it to this puppy. People started saying that that looks like a Happy Mouth with a Hitler mustache. They were comparing it to Hitler. And like I said, at first I'm looking at this thing like, I don't think so. That doesn't look Hitler-y to me. But hold on. This is Jerome, the Area 51 alien. And now, what do you think? It is a little Hitler-y. So that was the whole story. Their new logo looked a little too much like Hitler's mouth, so they ended up changing it. And I just thought it was really funny, because I think it's funny anytime Jeff Bezos has to admit he was wrong. It is delicious. He's fine. He'll survive. He won't. My ridicule means nothing to Jeff Bezos. I am a nobody. I am a peasant. I mean nothing to Jeff Bezos, so trust me, the criticism doesn't hurt. Well, Jeff Bezos isn't apparently the only one that I possibly offended with that joke, because I quickly got some trolls in the comments. Take a look at this guy. I mean, I'm not expecting you to read all of that, but I just like the very last line of, "Stop taking the blue pill." Oh yeah. These guys are upset about cancel culture. Here are a couple more of them from there, and none of them were particularly mean, just irritating more than anything. Here's this guy. He says, "Who sits around looking for this kind of crap? I would love to meet that person," which is fair, because yeah, who has as much free time as I do? I get that. And I didn't think that one was particularly rude. But then he got a little buddy involved, and he goes, his buddy here is like, almost as bad as the guy making a video and agreeing with all this nonsense. Yeah, because I like watching Jeff Bezos have to spend money designing a new logo because it's hilarious. That's it, man. It's not any propaganda or anything. It's just that I think it's funny to make Jeff Bezos do things. And then our buddy Ken from the top there is like, "Oh, the blow-up green alien said it all." Excuse me. I'd like to know exactly what Jerome did to you. And you should know, Mr. Man, he's a genuine Area 51 alien, which means that he's probably venomous and he knows where you live. So just remember that next time you try to insult Jerome, all right? And then, of course, nothing could be complete without our buddy Aiden, who's like, "I promise whoever it is a Democrat." Okay. And normally I don't like to talk about these kind of things. It's a little heavy for what we do on Nightcap with Nightcat. But realistically, I think it's time we talk a little bit about it. This whole cancel culture idea is ridiculous. That's what they're claiming. They're claiming I was excited that Amazon had to cancel their logo unrolling because somebody might be offended by it. It's just ridiculous because that's not what cancel culture is. Cancel culture is usually known as boycotting. It's where you say, hey, because you, company, decided to do that thing that I don't like, I'm not going to spend my money with you. It's a normal thing that's been happening forever. And guess what? Companies get to decide whether or not they change the thing. So the person who's upset isn't canceling anything. It's the company who's making a better decision for more money. You know what that's called? That's called the free market. The free market is who you should be upset at about cancel culture. But look, I get it. Things are different. Things have changed. There are certain things that we can't say and do that even 10 years ago, we all thought were okay. And just because white people are just now realizing certain things are racist, or just because right now some straight people are realizing that some things are homophobic or transphobic that they didn't know before, doesn't mean that those things haven't always been racist and transphobic and homophobic, etc. Alright? Those things have always existed. They're just now enough of us saying, hey, we don't like it, you gotta stop, and these companies are like, yeah, alright, cool. But again, I understand things are changing fast for you, and you might need a safe space from all these safe spaces, because the safe space is infringing on my First Amendment. Okay. So I thought we would do something for you tonight, special proud warrior out there, fighting against all odds to be able to say whatever you want, whenever you want to say it, as if you can't do that already without getting put in jail. Here's the thing, these people are upset by something new already. Just like within the last week, it has been Mr. Potato Head and Dr. Seuss. In case you missed those stories, Mr. Potato Head, Hasbro announced that the Potato Head line would be called Potato Head, not Mr. Potato Head anymore. So all these conservatives wrote all these articles and op-eds all about how they're changing our history because we can't call him Mr. Potato Head anymore. And then Dr. Seuss, on his birthday, they released a list of books that, you know, are racist. There's some racism in there. I found out that the hard way when I was reading at a school, and I was reading If I Ran the Zoo, and they talked about the slanty-eyed folks. That was really cute to find out in front of elementary schoolers. So Dr. Seuss has said we're going to cease publication of these books. So these people are upset that Dr. Seuss is getting canceled because of political correctness. Well, guess what? Neither of those things actually happened. Hasbro, Hasbro is going to keep Mr. Potato Head. Mr. Potato Head, Mrs. Potato Head, they're not going anywhere. They're just changing the name of the brand to Potato Head because there's a lot of things that go under there. Again, a business decision. And then Dr. Seuss over here, they didn't say the government, Big Brother, was going to come in and burn all of your Cat in the Hat books. All they said is, we're going to stop publishing these titles. You can keep it. You can find it. I'm sure there are 1,000 copies of those books in any used bookstore. No one's canceling anything, so you've got to chill out. But you're right. You aren't able to say and do whatever you want like you used to be able to say and do whatever you want. So I thought we would give you a moment to mourn and get over that fact so you stop being such a baby. And I thought we would do it to the tune of Don't Cry Out Loud by Melissa Manchester. And since it is a funeral and we are mourning, here's what we can mourn, everybody. Ooh, a veil. I actually couldn't play Don't Cry Out Loud by Melissa Manchester because I don't own the rights, so I'm just going to have to sing it to you. And I'm going to allow you to mourn these things that I don't think are that big of a loss, but obviously you're having a hard time with it. Don't cry out loud, just keep it inside. Learn how to hide your feelings. Fly high and proud. And if you should fall, remember you almost had it all. Don't cry out loud, just keep it inside. Learn how to hide your feelings. Who even does this? Feelings. Fly high and proud. And if I should fall, remember I almost had it all. Thank you so much. All right, enough berating internet trolls. Let's get into the litter box. That's it.
Ew, what stinks in here?
The Litter Box is the part of the show where we go through the stupid news from the week, and there's some good ones in here, including, you know how much I love thrifting. I honestly think I might love thrifting more than most people that I know. Well, this guy found the thrift of his life, a bowl. This bowl does not look very interesting or exciting, does it? Well, he didn't, think too much of it when he was in Connecticut buying it for $35 at a yard sale. $35, you should never spend that at a yard sale. That's ridiculous. For a bowl. I would have walked right away from it. But it turned out that this bowl is actually from the 1400s. It's an ancient Chinese artifact, and the snooty auction house Sotheby's has called it exceptional and rare. Those snooties aren't impressed by anything. So this is actually a pretty impressive find. They appraised it, and they think that it'll end up going on auction for anywhere between $300,000 and $500,000 for a bowl that looks like any other bowl in my grandma's house. So I mean, I'm glad you got some history and some really cool stuff out of it, but that just feels like way too much to spend on a bowl. That's it. All right, this is very exciting news. A passenger jet in Sudan had to make an emergency turnaround because the pilot was being attacked by a cat. I guess they took off, and out of nowhere, about 30 minutes into the flight, this cat comes in and just starts wailing on the pilot. And so the pilot just freaks out, throws the door open, and the crew is in a mad scramble to get this cat. But he's too agile, baby. He's too fast. He ain't letting no one catch him. Not today. He is going to Paris whether you like it or not. Well, they had to make an emergency turnaround because you can't have a wild, stray animal running around the cabin. And they suspect what ended up happening is they kept the plane cooped up all night in this one area after it was cleaned, and then they think a stray cat just hopped onto it. He's very cute, though. I would like that cat very much. So if it's looking for a home, why don't you just text me? 601-557-CAT1. That sounds great. I'll take care of that cat. Not a problem. This is bananas. MGK, Machine Gun Kelly. I don't have a strong opinion on Machine Gun Kelly. His music is okay. I don't have he's whatever. But his drummer got hit by a car. Actually, his drummer was out walking last night at around 8 o'clock, and he was assaulted, robbed, and then hit by a car. The thieves made off with apparently thousands of dollars worth of goods, and he was left there. It sounds like he's gonna be okay. The car mostly got his leg and his arm, but it's never a good thing when a car gets any part of your body. And that has just really been stressing me out because, guys, this is now MGK's drummer, Lady Gaga's dog walker, and then these rich people, and let's not forget the Kim Kardashian had a stalker come through her gate. I just feel like it's getting more and more aggressive out there, and apparently it pays to be poor because no one's trying to rob me. I don't have anything. All these toys, they're worth like $20. Do your worst. Good luck to ya. And finally, this is bananas. These two women, they're Welsh, they're from Wales. They decided that they wanted to break a world record, and there's a million world records that they could have broken, right? But they chose, at the ages of 52 and 42, to break the record for the longest pull of an airplane. They dragged an Airbus A320 65 and a half feet in 37.63 seconds. And I just don't know if I have the courage or the strength or even the desire to do anything like that, let alone at 52. I'm not even 30 yet, and every bone in my body pops when I stand up too quickly. So I can't imagine that airplane's gonna be too good for me. But what I really want to know is if that plane was fully loaded, was there luggage on the undercarriage? Because if there was luggage, you're gonna have to pay those ladies $50 for every bag that you brought on that they have to pull across the jetway. Thank you so much. And that is the litter box. All right, let's get into some her sunken treasure. Sunken Treasure is the part of the show where we dig through my toy collection and we play with something awesome! Tonight, we are playing with Sky Dancers. Now, this is a very particular reason we're doing this. This morning on Morning Announcements, that morning show that I'm hosting these days, I do a game called Prize Pond, where contestants can actually play to win prizes. And the gal, her name was Riley, that was playing today, won a McDonald's Skydancer. That one was still in the package. This is the one that I play with. And she was like, I don't know what Skydancers are, so I guess I'm gonna pick the other prize. You don't know what Skydancers are? I'm sure many, 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 many of us currently have some sort of scar on our body from where the Skydancers were. Now, Skydancers were released in 1994 by a company called Galoob. This is not a Skydancer. I don't actually have a Skydancer. I only have the McDonald's ones, and when you do the little thing, they don't fly anywhere. They just sort of spin, and they're cute, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to see this thing fly across the room. You actually, as a matter of fact, might be familiar already with one Skydancer in particular. This is from America's Funniest Home Videos. So, Skydancer starts taking off. Here we go. And into the fire. That's the whole idea behind the Skydancer. The whole idea behind the Skydancers is that they have this little cute arm or wand, I guess you would call it, with a little pull string, and you pull it and they go flying off in any direction. They have these big foam arms. I don't actually have the Skydancer like I was saying, but my roommate Veronica is like the world's biggest Sailor Moon collection. She's obsessed with Sailor Moon, and she let me borrow her Sailor Moon bootleg Fly Dancer. Not Skydancer. Fly Dancer. And this is not Sailor Moon, I had to find out. This is Sailor Uranus. And then I had to stop giggling because she said Uranus. But let's quickly get her out here. Okay, so this is the base. It looks like a little Sailor Moon wand. This is, I assume it's supposed to be Luna from Sailor Moon, but she's pink and she feels like she's made out of some very cheap plastic. Some very, very, I don't know, it almost feels like gum. Like if you left used gum in there. All right, so you put her here on the base, you go like this. If you pull really hard, she goes flying. I'm so scared to do it with all these lights everywhere, but we're gonna do it, all right? 3, 2, 1. Oh! Okay, she hit the ceiling pretty hard. We're just gonna leave her there for a second. Now, Skydancers, as you can imagine, because of the velocity from which they just attack any direction they want, and they have those, even though the wings are foam, they still hurt really bad. Over 100 children were injured between 1994 when the toy was released and 2000 when it was recalled. In 6 years, 100 kids were injured, including temporary blindness. They literally blinded children, so they took them off the market. They're hard to find now, but I love them so much. I love a Skydancer, and I found a few of the McDonald's ones at the Savers, and I was so happy about it because even though they don't fly off, they're still really cool. Anyway, the Skydancers all belong in the banned/controversial toy collection, which one day I might take you behind the scenes so that you can take a look at that. And that is Sunken Treasure. Okay, real quick before we get into anything else, I would like to thank our Patreon sponsors. Patreon, if you don't know, is a really great service that allows you to support the artists that you enjoy watching, like me. I have patreon.com/NIGHTCAT show, 2 tiers. There's the $3 tier and the $5 tier. Each of them comes with different benefits. This is how we keep doing this. This is how we keep the roof above my head and also keep the equipment coming. I need your support in order to do this, and I get that not everyone can, and that's totally cool. I will always work as hard as I can to make sure that NIGHTCAT content is free and accessible to as many people. But if you have the extra money, that would be great. And part of the thing you get when you join Patreon as a patron is you get a very special shout out. So I want to shout out some patrons right now, including Brooklyn Gittins. Brooklyn, you little angel, thank you so much for being a patron. Camilla Moore. Camilla and I used to work together over at the radio station. Thank you so much. Tell your daughter Livy I say hello. Camille Romine. I'm going to say Romine and hope that that's a long I. Camille Romine, thank you. Cassandra Gowan. Cassandra. Cassandra Gowan feels like a famous girl name. Just like, you know who starred in that new movie? Cassandra Gowan. Thank you, Cassandra Gowan. And finally, we've got Charity Handy. I'll be giving so many more shout outs. Thank you, Charity. To everyone who becomes a patron, you can join for as little as $3 a month. Patreon.com/NightCat Show. All right, I think it's time for another classic Nightcat Classic Tale. Welcome to Nightcat Classic Tales. Normally I have everything put back where it's supposed to be, but we're live and I don't have any. Okay, well, that's where that goes for now. Nightcat Classic Tales is the part of the show where I tell you about one of my past experiences. This one happened when I was 21. Oh, excuse me. It was 2012. I was once upon a time a contestant on a reality show called The Biggest Loser. And if you don't know anything about the show, basically they take, fat people from all over America, they put us in adult fat camp, and they make us work out and do these crazy challenges and vote each other out and cry and puke and get to the root of our emotional issues and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, one of the challenges that we did on Biggest Loser was a bubblegum pit. I want you to, that's me with Dolvette, by the way. Me and Dolvette on the actual ranch, but that's not what we're here for. I want to show you the bubblegum pit. Now, I couldn't find a really clear picture of the actual pit, but I think this GIF speaks volumes as to what was happening. The idea was they had built giant gumball machines. You would run through the bubblegum pit, get a gumball, which is actually a giant medicine ball, carry it back through the bubblegum pit, and you put it on the other side. Now, the way Hollywood reality show competitions work is that they hire testers to see if it's safe and if it's effective, if it actually looks good. I'm going to leave him up there for a while because I just think he's hilarious. They want to make sure that the challenges are safe for the contestants, because if your contestant gets injured, you're out a lot of money. So they're just like, we'll pay someone else $100 to get hurt. Well, the testers got there, and they got through the bubblegum pretty easy, so they kept adding mix. And the bubblegum, I guess, is made out of the same thing that Nickelodeon slime is made out of, aka Elmer's glue, is realistically what it ended up being. So the testers were going through it too fast. It wasn't going to be an exciting thing, so they kept adding powder to it until they got right to the consistency that they wanted. Well, that was in the middle of the day. When the sun went down, it was cold, and that pile of goop had been sitting in the sun drying out all day. So by the time we got there, it was much, much harder to get through than they had anticipated, and it took us forever to get through it. Like, honestly, I think if I had gone face down, I probably would have just been stuck. I don't know that they would have been able to rescue me in time. It was that bad. It was like quicksand. You couldn't get out of it. I made the mistake, obviously, of putting my hands in, and then there was just bubblegum all over my hands for the rest of my entire life. I did almost puke inside of that bubblegum pit. Now, here's the worst part, though. The challenge ended up taking so long that we bumped into crew lunch. And if you don't know anything about unions, they're pretty strict about when you can and cannot take a lunch break. So they had their lunch break, and we just had to sit there and goop because we hadn't filmed our after challenge interviews yet. So they made us sit in a tent in the freezing cold, just wet. Imagine being in wet clothes, sticky all over, and you're freezing, and they won't let you take a shower because you need to look gross for the interview. Oh, I was so mad. So we sat in there for an hour, and then finally, they were like, you know what, we'll let you wash a little bit off, but just mostly stay the same. We're like, oh, thank God, thank you. And they take us over, and we think we're gonna go into the house and just, have a quick wash in the sink. They pulled up a water truck, and they opened up the side and let us hose off like German shepherds. And that was how, so we sat there in this like little stream of water like raccoons, just frantically trying to get the bubblegum off of us, but not too much bubblegum because we still had to do the friggin' interviews. And then by the time we actually got through all of our interviews, the bubblegum had hardened so bad that they cut most of us out of our clothes. We couldn't even salvage the clothes that they had left. So next time you think that reality TV is all fun and glamorous and Kim Kardashian-y, just remember that I was hosed off at fat camp covered in bubblegum. it's not all it's cracked up to be. That is Nightcat Classic Tales. Before we get into your warm milk, somebody asked if we could talk about some recommendations, and I always have lots and lots of recommendations. What podcasts, TV shows, etc. am I watching right now? So the first one that I want to recommend is over on Netflix. It's a documentary called The Secrets of the Saqqara Tomb. They found this insanely intact tomb in Egypt, and the Netflix doc crew just followed them the whole time. And I don't want to ruin too much, but like, it's shocking the crazy stuff that they find. I was enthralled the entire time. I couldn't stop watching. So The Secrets of the Saqqara Tomb, very, very good. There's another one coming up on Netflix. It actually came out today, called Murder Among the Mormons. It is a true crime series about the Judge Building bombing / the Salamander Papers / this guy named Mark Hoffman, who was forging these religious texts and selling them to the LDS Church for a long time, and he was scary and terrifying and crazy and a genius, and you won't believe it. Well, I actually covered that story already on my true crime podcast, Curiosity Killed Nightcat. Look for Nightcat Radio on your favorite podcast directory. You can listen to the highlights of it, and then if you like it, invest in the Netflix show. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm sure it's great. And then in case you missed it, one of my favorite shows of all time is The Handmaid's Tale. I love dystopian future. It is like the only show that I watch week by week, because they only drop episodes week by week, and I watch it as it airs every time. I don't watch that, maybe 90 Day Fiancé, but that's it. Well, The Handmaid's Tale finally dropped a trailer for season 4. We didn't get one last year because of the Rona, so finally they dropped the trailer. That looks really fun. They're gonna come out April 28th, so go find that trailer. And if you haven't watched the first 3 seasons of Handmaid's Tale, watch it, but not with kids, and also not if you're sensitive. How does that sound? All right. I think it's time we start tucking you little night kittens into bed with some more milk. Oh, that's not the right one. Warm milk, happy news, good news stories to help you go to sleep. I really wanted to share something that we've been doing in the morning. This has been really, really fun. A lot of us have really enjoyed this. We do something called 3 minutes of fish. And that's where I put a close-up camera on the fish tank at the very end of the show, and we just watch the fish, and we listen to some cool jams, and we just chill. So I want you to take the next 3 minutes. Don't X out of this. Don't go playing on your phone. Don't let anyone distract you. If there are other people in the room, make them chill out too. And we're just going to enjoy 3 minutes of fish. Here you go. Was that 3 minutes? I don't know. You get the gist. Thank you so much for watching Nightcap with Nightcat. Stick around after if you want to hang out